Okay, so hello and welcome everybody to today's call. It's a very interesting topic, and I feel one of the most deepest pages that have been created by um, Healy and Marcus Shimike, and the page is called as Bioenergetic Vitalization. Hi, I am Trisha Shah and I am the TimeWaver Partner for India and Healy Frequency Expert. I have been practicing with frequency since 12 years now. It's been a very, very long time. And today's topic was something that I have been looking forward to take up. Now, when we talk about bioenergetic vitalization, it is one of the pages present on our Healy, and it is a page that was first originally created, keeping in mind that it is not a page that is required by everybody. And yet, in some or the other way, it is giving something and bringing something to the table for each and everybody. Now, we know a very simple concept about cells. We already know how Healy works with the cellular voltage. We already know that our body is made up of organs, and organs are made up of cells, and we are made up of trillions and trillions of cells in the body. But today we will look at it from a little different perspective. So I want to ask you, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? When you look in the mirror, what is it that you see? You will see yourself. The answer is very quick to come, and the answer is that you are going to see yourself. You're going to see a reflection of you, and that person is nobody but you. But I want you to do this. I want you to think of times when you have looked into the mirror, go back into that time zone, and ask yourself, do you just look at yourself and look at your outer self, or do you ever wonder what are you made up of? What are you made out of? Or what is inside you? What do you consist of? Have you ever asked yourself this question? Well, we are made up of 50 trillion cells, and cells are all living because they are constantly vibrating. What makes them vibrate? What makes the cell vibrate? Now, before we get more into the area of, am I not audible, everybody? Am I audible? Someone, um, I'm audible? Do you need volume? In what way do you need volume? Okay, my volume is fine, perfectly fine. Okay, I'm just going to continue. Um, for those that cannot hear me clearly, please increase your volume. Okay, now it is very important to understand that our body has 50 trillion cells and all of them are living entities. So that is why when you look in the mirror and when you see a reflection of yourself, it is not just you. You are not one singular individual that you are looking at yourself into the mirror. You are not a single entity. It is not just your reflection that you see. You are made up of a huge community consisting of 50 trillion cells. So, here it is important to understand that we are not just one individual or one cell, but we are a community of cells. So it's important to understand what is the meaning of community here. Now it's quite similar to having a community living in a society or in a certain area or in a certain sect of religion. You know, you have your similar religion based community groups, temple based community groups, schools, children that go to school, they have their community there. So it is quite similar to the rule of the community. And the rule of the community is that you are no more just a singular person with a consciousness, but you operate in a group consciousness. There's the collective consciousness. And this is exactly something similar that also happens with the cells in our body. Because every cell is a part of this 50 trillion community. And not just that, but every cell is intelligent. Every cell literally has a mind of its own. But because They are living in a community. They give up their personal intelligence and they respond to one singular central voice. Because only if they respond to one singular central voice is when there is going to be harmony inside us. So we operate on one singular central voice. So what is that central voice? That central voice is the central intelligent voice that is responsible to give a command of die, live, regenerate, degenerate, etc. etc. This central voice is something that you know very, very closely, and it is called as the mind. It is called as the mind. Well, clearly, we are not surprised because we know that this is the dominant one. Now, it's important to understand your what is the role of the mind with the cells? How does the mind work? So, let's try to understand that first. Now, firstly, there are signals from the environment. These signals could be internal also and they could be external also. Now, these signals, they act like a chemical or a drug, um, or this could be because of a hormone also that has gotten triggered. So this signal could be a chemical invasion, a chemical signal. It could be a drug-based signal. When you say a drug-based signal, it means you are taking up, you have consumed a crocin. So that's a drug-based signal. Or an antibiotic. That's a drug-based signal. Now, during fever, you often consume an antibiotic and you see your body reacting and responding to it. And in sometimes you observe that there you are entirely full of sweat. So your body has received a drug-based signal and then has chosen to respond to it. In the same manner, we also have hormones, which are also signal forms. Some of these signal forms are responsible for growth factors, or sometimes these signals are nothing but just a vibrational wave. All in all, these are signals. They could be because of something internal, or it could be something that has triggered you or stimulated you from the outside or the external force also. Now comes in the brain. Now comes in the brain. Because mind and brain are definitely not the same thing. So the function of the brain here is to perceive these signals which could be internal and external. Okay, the function of the brain is to give you a perspective. Is the function of the brain is to collect this information in the form of signal and then send this information to the trillions of cells. The community of cells that is living is inside of you. The job of these or the job of the brain is to catch hold of these signals and process these signals, create a perception, and then pass this information. Now this is a perception. From perception it has become an information. This information then gets passed through our whole body, that is our cells, so that there is some kind of behavior that eventually takes place. Now, this behavior could be because of genetic factor also, and at a behavioral level also. So, for example, if your system has received signal from a certain drug, which is in response to fever, for example, your body has understood this as a drug signal and has chosen to perceive and pass a command to the cell that you are supposed to let go of the body temperature and you're supposed to sweat. So the eventual outcome is that you may start feeling hot, though you were feeling cold probably before when your temperature was risen. So this is how the perception works. This perception is created because of the brain. The perception is created because of the signals that are received by the brain. So the function of the brain is perception, which it creates, and thus a mind is formed. Now, physically, when you this is all about our mental part. How mental, how mentally you are influencing the 50 trillion cells in your body. Now, let's come to the physical part of it. So, you are made up of protein. All of us are made up of protein. Don't we, when we go through the very, very basic presentation of Healy, which is like a product, basic product know-how, don't we read that chart where we say we understand the cell membrane voltage? Remember the cell membrane voltage chart? And we often say that the cells are responsible for protein synthesis. So that is why we are made up of protein, because protein is that energy in our body that controls and manages the vital forces in our body. Now, this is not a new science. This is literally the same science which this was researched really long ago, years ago, and we are repeating the same things again. So, this is nothing absolutely new. It is a very known factor that the vital forces in our body are controlled by the protein in our body. And this protein is also playing a very important role of a signal form. So when a mental signal is created, okay, when the mind perceives something, a signal form gets created. A signal form, a signal form then binds to a certain protein. Basically, this signal gets passed on to the cell and then gets binded to a certain protein. Hence, there is a vibration and a movement that gets created. This movement is nothing but the behavior or the eventual outcome or result of your body's result to the perception. So what you then choose to do with this signal, now you have received a mental signal, the signal is then passed on to the cells, and then you have now taken an action. Your action could be behavioral, could be a movement, could be physical also, and could be well just creating a pool of newer thoughts. So your reaction could be physical, your reaction could be mental also, could be communicative, could be like running around. The flight and the fight mode that we usually talk about is all nothing but a behavior. So then comes the quality of the behavior. Now your behavior could be healthy or the behavior could be unhealthy. How does this get determined? So the behavior of your body gets often determined by the health. So if there is a disease, then obviously the behavior of the body is not going to be right. Now let's say you consume something cold, okay, and your body's reaction was that it resulted into tonsils. So this is called as a bad behavior of the body. Why did this happen? Because there is some kind of an existing imbalance in this. So now the question arises, what has caused this disease? What has caused this health imbalance? Now there are very few things. There are very fixed answers to this question. And the fixed answer to this question is that we are made up of protein. So either the protein inside us is bad, or the signal that we have received from the brain and gone to mind and then to the cells is bad. Now, there are only three ways in which this protein or the signal can get messed up. What are these three things? First is the trauma, mental trauma, holding on to things mentally. This is called the mental trauma. The minute there is trauma, the minute there is trauma, it sort of also is a signal. And if the trauma stays, it means you are constantly generating a traumatic signal, and then you are passing that traumatic signal to your whole body. Second, the second way to mess up the signal the signal between the mind and the protein in the body. The second reason, the way in which this signal can get messed up, is toxins. Toxins are the chemicals in the body. So if the chemistry inside your body, that is the chemicals inside your body, are not good, automatically the signal cannot be passed. So it could be that your mind is creating the signal, but your body is not exactly receiving the signal. There is no behavior, or there is bad behavior. And the third and the most important way to mess up this signal is the thought, is the thought in the mind. The third and the most important one is the thought in the mind. Because sometimes there may not be anything wrong with the body. Body is completely okay. But it is just sending the wrong signal at the wrong time. And who is responsible to send the signal? The mind. Always remember, mind is responsible to send the signal. So if the wrong kind of signal is passing through the body at a wrong time, like for example, you are trying to sleep in the night, but somehow your mind has gotten into a habit of reminding you of all the unwanted negative episodes from your day. It is playing back in your mind. This is a wrong signal at the wrong time, because clearly the signal needs to be that you are trying to relax and you are trying to sleep. Here, there is nothing wrong with the body. It's what is wrong here is with the mind, because a wrong thought has created a wrong signal. Are we understanding till here? Are you understanding till here? Are we on the same page here? Are you able to get me till here? It's a very, very simple process. In a nutshell, I'm just going to repeat myself. Our brain sends signal to our body, okay? And our body is made up of trillions of cells, and these cells, they operate on protein. Now, there are only two ways in which, through which a disease can occur. Sorry, there are only three ways through which a disease can occur. First is toxin, second trauma, third thought. All T. And sometimes there could be nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with the body, but it is the mind that has created the issue. So I'm very happy to receive a lot of yeses. It gives me a go ahead, and I'm going to move ahead to the next part of it. Now let's come back to our Healy basics, where we speak about the cellular voltage. Now every cell in the body has a minus voltage on the inside, and it has a positive voltage on the outside. And every cell is living. Okay, every cell is living, has it vibrates, and every live cell. So there are some dead cells also, but what I mean is that I'm talking here about only the non-dead cells, that is the living cells. So every cell that is living, you can think of that cell as a battery. I want you to think of that cell as the battery. Just the way our phones have battery, our remotes have battery, right? In the similar manner, I want you to think of the living cells as a battery. Now, every living cell is a battery. So every cell has some kind of electricity or voltage. It has power, right? It has some kind of electricity and power. So it has about 1.4 volts. It's not much, but it is very much when you have 50 trillion cells having 1.4 voltage, right? That generates a lot of electricity. So you as a human being are absolutely capable of generating electricity. So imagine 50 trillion into 1.4 volts. That's literally 700 trillion voltage of electricity. Imagine this is the kind of electricity you have inside you right now. Isn't this amazing to know? This is mind blowing, right? We loosely use this word that we are made up of electricity. We are made up of power. But imagine the kind of power you have inside you. Have you ever wondered why is there static when sometimes you touch a certain object and you will see that the hair is slightly like, there's static. Why is this reaction? It is because you are also an electric body. This is absolutely amazing to know. Now moving to the next part of it. Why is this important to know? This is important to know because the next question is, what are you going to do with this electricity? How, as a human being, are you exactly using this electricity? This is a major question right now. And the answer to that is that this electricity is the energy inside you. This electricity is used and consciously can be used by each one of you for healing. It can be used by each one of us for healing. So it is very, very important to ask this question that we have so much electricity inside us, and what are we exactly doing with it? Well, we are doing a lot of things. All your day-to-day activities that you go through, sleeping, jogging, walking, breathing, eating, digestion, pooping, everything, you need energy and electricity and protein for everything. But the rule of human life is that we are aging. Okay. The rule of the life is that we are aging. All of us, all of us are aging. We start aging from the day we are born. And aging is an inevitable process. But when we have the three T's, what are the three T's? Well, my name is also Trisha, but I'm not a part of this T gang. The three T's are thoughts, trauma, and toxins. If you ask yourself a question, how well are you able to avoid the three T's? Well, it's quite difficult. It's not probably possible to live a life without these three T's. So now here's what happens. These three T's cause diseases. All the unhealth are responsible for all the unhealthy things in the body, are responsible for wrong signals, are responsible for the stress that you go through in your life. Now the cells in the body react to the stress. This stress could be coming from the external life. However, that external stress is coming, you are internalizing that stress, and the eventual outcome of that stress is that your cells are also getting stressed out. Now we have two different kinds of cells. I'm not going to get into the cellular science, but here we are talking about two typical cells here, two specific cells here, not typical. That is the stem cell and the regular cell. Now, what we heard up till now is all about the regular cell. Everything that we listen to right now is about the regular cell. But there are some special kinds of cells in our body also that are called as the stem cells. Stem cells are not huge in numbers. They are in small numbers. They are quite lesser than 50 trillion cells in the body. I absolutely don't know the number of it, but it is not a part of, it is not in that kind of, it's not that kind of population that is there in our body. Now, stem cells are found in various parts of our body, like, for example, in our tissues, in our bones, in our blood cells, in our organs. It is found in various different areas in the body. And they are, however, found in small numbers in the body. They could be in adult form or could be in a fetal form also. And they are found in the bone marrow in various different areas. But what do they do? What makes the stem cell special? The stem cells have a unique ability to self renew. They replicate, they copy and they replicate. They recreate functional tissues. That is their job. This is what stem cells do. Now, our body is it's very magical, The more you get to know about it, you start feeling it's very, very magical. And it's so holistically created. It really makes you wonder how. So imagine here we are talking about 50 trillion cells, and then we have a special cell section which is called as a stem cell. And these stem cells have a superpower of renewing themselves and recreating and replicating. And then comes a section like, for example, the muscle cells, the blood cells, the nerve cells. These areas, imagine, they don't normally replicate. So we have certain areas in our body where it is easy, we have stem cell present, and it is easy for the stem cell to heal, replicate, multiply, duplicate, renew itself, recreate. And then we have certain areas where this is not possible. Now, we have a natural mechanism, right? The electricity in our body is responsible for energy balancing, energy creation, energy movement, and natural balancing in our body. So, some natural things, like, for example, exercising. What does the exercise do? The exercise does a lot of wondrous things, wonderful things for the body, not just for the stem cell, but also for the regular cell. So, regular physical activity, for example, like aerobic exercises or anything which is cardiovascular in movement or health, it encourages the stem cells to become bone rather than getting converted to fat. And when you have them present in the form of stem cells, where they're not converting themselves into fat cells, you can say that you have a better immune system, you are more active, your brain is more healthy, your signal form is intact, your protein balancing is better, your regular cells are also dying and getting created in the correct capacity, in the correct manner. So similarly, we have a very simple example of getting quality of sleep. Again, if you are sleeping well, we always say sleep is very, very important because it sort of resets your mind, and your mind is the area where the signal gets created, right? So the adequate quality of sleep is also something very responsible and very responsible in contributing to the correct kind of health and production of stem cells. Now, let's come back to the area. Let's come a little bit closer towards our focus today. And the focus here is bioenergetic vitalization page. There has been a lot of research on stem cells. And you all must have heard of stem cell therapy. It is an invasive process. And I promise you, it is absolutely, please note, it is not side effect free. It does have its different kinds of side effects. So when Marcus was sitting with a group of scientists that were speaking about stem cell, they spoke about a lot of research that was done, which said that special frequencies have the potential to activate these stem cells and can support the stem cell migration. We just spoke about sleeping adequately, we just spoke about exercising adequately, and now we are speaking about special frequencies that also have a similar power to activate the stem cells, which have gotten deactivated because of diseases, for example, or your lifestyle choices or the stresses. And these frequencies can support the cell migration process. So, what is stem cell migration? Stem cell migration means when your stem cells are migrating in the body and are traveling to a different place wherever they are needed. Now, let's say that the skin is very healthy and skin is in great condition, and it is possible to it is possible that the stem cell is created and is present in that area, and but your skin doesn't need it, your liver needs it. So your skin is going to send the stem cell to your liver. This is called as a stem cell migration. In the same way, for example, there is a stem cell coming from the bone marrow. However, it is not required in the bone marrow, so it is, and but it is required by kidney. So the kidney is receiving a stem cell internally in your body from the bone marrow. Now, for the stem cell to travel, they need to migrate. They have to go through your whole body, right? They have to go through the whole body. Imagine it's quite a distance for a small cell. It's quite a huge travel. They have to go through the entire body. Now, this migration can be supported by the frequencies. Okay, this migration can be supported by frequencies, and that is why we have a page which is called as the Bioenergetic Vitalization page. So, what does bioenergetic vitalization page contain? Well, it contains frequencies. After a lot of research, Marcus created these bundles, and this it contains a lot of research, a research which was done on stem cells, their connection with DNA, regeneration, telomere connection, the regeneration of telomere, and so on. So, it contains a lot of frequencies which aid in the stem cell migration process. These are special frequencies. These are not present in any of your other programs of Healy. And here we are combining these frequencies with Healy technology, which uses a quantum sensor. So we use quantum analyzed stem cell researched frequencies, and we only use those which are relevant for us. So it's a very customized program. It's a very, very personalized process. It's a process where frequencies are literally handpicked to suit your specific requirement to support the stem cell migration. These frequencies are after a lot of research of probably more than 20 years. And many researchers, many researchers have created a lot of papers, a lot of printed case study on how frequencies have the potential to support the stem cell migration. We are very lucky here today to have 12 beautiful programs on the Bioenergetic Vitalization page, which literally do the same thing. Let's check out these programs. We have Regeneration 1, Regeneration 2, Regeneration 3. We have bone tissue harmony, stability, holistic support, nerve harmony, pineal gland, youth, epigenetic harmonization, and cell harmony. We have 12 amazing programs. Let's see what do they do. Okay, let's see what do they do. Firstly, they also use something called as solfeggio frequencies. Now, what you see on my screen the wheel. These are some solfeggio frequencies where I want you to take a look and run some math. I want you to run some math. Very quickly, anybody would like to do the calculations for me? Anybody for calculations? Anybody for calculations? Okay, I'm going to shoot out and you can write it on the chat. What is 3 plus 9 plus 6? Quickly. What is 3 plus 9 plus 6? Anybody? 18. 18. Okay. Now what is 1 plus 8? 9. The answer is 9. Okay. Now so this is our 3 plus 6 plus 9. Now let's check out the next one. 2 plus 8 plus 5. Give me a singular digit. 15. So 15 is 1 plus 5. That is 6. Great. Let's do a 741. So 7 plus 4 plus 1. 7 plus 4 plus 1. 3. It comes to 3. Do you see the pattern here? All the frequencies present in solfeggio come to a sum of 3, 6, and 9. These are really old frequencies, very well researched upon, very, very deep, tried, tested, and are successful. And they do so many different things for the body. They don't just work on your chakras, but they also work on hormones, on higher consciousness, universal consciousness, emotions. 3, 6, and 9 are such important numbers. This is what solfeggio frequencies are based upon. These are originally sound patterns that were used to enhance relaxation. It was very strongly observed that it was enhancing relaxation, it was reducing stress, and it was creating overall physical well being also. Very interesting, right? Imagine working with these frequencies in the beautiful bioenergetic vitalization. It all revolves around 3, 6, and 9. We are working with a lot of frequencies. So I cannot say that this is the only frequency we are using, but we are using some other frequencies also. But solfeggio is a very strong part of Marcus's research also. Is not created by him, but he has used solfeggio very strongly in our page of bioenergetic vitalization. Okay, so we are using it's good to know what are the kind of frequencies we are using in this page. Now come, let's check out the programs. The first three programs are called as Regeneration 1, Regeneration 2, and Regeneration 3. These are 36 minutes programs to be used by bracelet electrodes. What do they do? Well, these programs are created to stimulate the vitality in the first phase, second phase, third phase. These are called as the connecting programs. These programs have to be used in this particular manner. Week 1, let's say today you decide that you want to work with these programs. Okay, then your week 1, that is 7 days a week, you will use only and only Regeneration 1. 7 days, same program every day, okay, which is called as the Regeneration 1 program. After week 1, when you start with your next 7 days, that is your week 2, you use the Regeneration 2 program. In the same way, on week 3, you will work with Regeneration 3. So in total, this is a 3-week program cycle. So you're using 3 weeks constantly. You're using 3 weeks constantly, Regeneration 1, followed by Regeneration 2, followed by Regeneration 3 to end it with. This is for the smooth. What is it for? It is for smooth stem cell migration. Your body will send it wherever it is required. Okay? It will send it wherever it is required. And of course, because we are working with quantum analyzed frequencies, because we are working with in a field of consciousness, you can be conscious. You can have a goal. For example, if your lungs are the areas to which you need to focus at, so you can have that as a focus while using the programs. Make it simple, keep it sweet and simple. Just say my lungs are healed and are healthy and balanced. Okay, keep it sweet and simple. If your focus is kidney, you say that. If your focus is pancreas, you say my pancreas are healed and balanced and are supporting me in the correct manner. Okay, just have this. Just say something like this if you want to. Okay, for a focus. One second. Now let's come to the second part. Bone and tissue harmony and stability. Now these programs are obviously for the bioenergetic harmony of bones, tissues, and for stability. What kind of? Let's check it out. Now there are four different kinds of tissues, four basic tissues in the body. They are the connective tissue, epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. The connective tissue, what does it do? It is for your blood, bone, lymph system. It binds them together. Okay. It is the reason why you are able to walk correctly, why you are able to move around correctly, because there are multiple lines in our body. We have a lymphatic system, we have a nervous system, we have muscles in the body. But do you see, we are all binded. We are all one single structure or entity in a way. We are not like our body parts are not all around the place. They are in the correct position, exactly where they need to be. What binds them? Connective tissue is what binds them. Okay, we then have the epithelial tissue. This, what does it do? It provides a covering. Skin, the linings of various passages in the body. So the external skin and the internal skin is connected with the epithelial tissue, is because of the epithelial tissue. We then have the muscle tissue. The muscle tissue is something that includes our voluntary muscle movement. That is, you choose to pick up the phone, right? You're choosing to pick up the phone. So when you are choosing to pick up the phone, the brain is going to send a signal. The mind is sending a signal to the cells in the body to use the fine motor system in your body to pick up the phone, right? This kind of movement, and so that smooth transition is happening, is responsible by the muscle tissue. Okay, it is also something which is surrounding our stomach. And we then have the nerve tissue. The nerve tissue is made up of nerve cells or the neurons, is used to carry messages from various parts of the body to different parts of the body, etc. Okay. Now, first you have set up a command of picking the phone. So you're going to use the left hand. Now I want to pick up the AC remote. So I'm using the right hand. I have used my muscle tissue plus my nerve tissue in this process. Okay. So the bone tissue harmony and stability, all these three, all these three, they work for all the four levels that you have seen here. So if your focus is bones, regeneration with bones, you can choose to work with bone and tissue harmony. Now, if your focus is the voluntary movement, that is the muscles in body which are responsible for voluntary movement, like small jobs like picking up the phone, picking up a pen, for example, etc. Working, you want to work with the skeletal system in the body. In that case, you need to target the muscle tissues in all those areas, and you can do that by using the tissue harmony program. Okay, and the nerve tissue works very, very strongly and closely with stability. Okay, so mental stability, mental coordination, hand-eye coordination, to be working with your sensory organs in all these areas, you can work with the nerve tissue, because our nerves are what exactly gets pressured when there is stress. When there is stress in the environment, that stress comes inside you, it sort of stays in your system, and nerve cells and your nervous system is probably what get affected. So if you need to do away, if you need to do away with these areas, you need to do away with stress in any of these levels. That is the epithelial level, muscle area, connective tissue, nerve tissue, then bone tissue harmony and stability are the correct programs for you. Now, even if you want your target is the movement, okay, let's say even if your target is the movement around, that is you want to target your focus area is that you want to be able to move around freely, for example. In this case, your question is, what should I use? I will say you start with week 1 regeneration 1, week 2 regeneration 2, week 3 regeneration 3, and then go on using bone tissue harmony and stability. These 3 programs, once you have given the kind of signal to your body that you are in the regeneration mode, you are free to work around with bone tissue harmony and stability. But if you are working with acute focuses, now this was a chronic focus, like you want to target your movement. But let's say you're working with acute focus, and acute focus could be small goals, small setting goals in your life. You could skip the regeneration 1, 2, 3. You could directly go on with bone tissue harmony and stability. If life has been very stressful for you currently in the last few months or last few years, stability is a great program for you. Okay, stability is a great program present on the Bioenergetic Vitalization page. If movement is what you want to target, then you work with tissue harmony and bone. But then again, always remember, mind and thoughts are very important. So stability is like your all-rounder program in this group. So if you're choosing to work with bone or tissue, either or both, you can just add a third program to the group, which is called as stability. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next program is called as holistic support. It is for mental support to create a healing environment for regeneration to occur, for the correct kind of signal to pass, so that the correct kind of stem cell migration can occur and can take place. Okay, and the protein absorption is also better. So your holistic support can be great in when you want to target anything at the mental level. Okay, anything here that you wish to target, holistic support is a great program to use. We then have the nerve harmony and pineal gland harmony program. Great programs to use. Now, where can you use them? Okay, where can you use them? Bouts, you have a chronic issue of insomnia. Sleeping has been a huge issue. You can use the pineal gland harmony program. Okay, if it's been a chronic issue and a deep-rooted issue, you can use the pineal gland harmony program. Now you can work around with the nerve harmony program for mental and psyche balance. Okay, so now let's say if you are working with depression, anxiety, the mental balance page, emotional harmony page, and these are the kind of programs you are usually choosing from Healy. This itself means that you also need to use the nerve harmony program. Okay, now you must be wondering, how is it different from stability? Here is how it is different. Stability is for everything related to bones and tissues. Okay, is for everything related to bones and tissues, is not directly working on the mind support. It is working for bone tissue harmony. Okay, holistic support is for a overall healing environment to the body, and nerve harmony is for nerves in specific. Okay, is for nerve in specific. Okay, please understand the difference. Here, the stability, tissue harmony, they are working with the nerve tissue but it is one of the tissue parts here. Okay, it's not the only thing, because we have four different kinds of tissues. But here with nerve harmony, you are specifically working with nerves. You are specifically working with nerve balance. Now, when we say nerve balance um, contributes to your cognitive skills, contributes to your circadian rhythm, contributes to how much is there internal fatigue in your body, how is the exhaustion level in the body. It also contributes to the flight and the fight mode, the decisions you make, the hormonal balance also in a way. Okay. And pineal gland is very strongly connected with your mind getting the natural command of when it is the daytime, when it is the nighttime. That is the natural circadian rhythm. It is also very strongly connected with the secretion of the hormone melatonin. Okay, so if you are looking at that kind of balancing, then pineal gland harmony should be your selection. We then have the epigenetic harmonization. Epigenetic harmonization is for cellular aging, but connected with your mental and psyche, not with the physical. So if you're looking at mental aging related program, epigenetic harmonization is a great program to use. But if you're looking for a program for physical vitality, youthful energy, and you are talking about physical aging process here, then youth and cell harmony are the two wonderful programs to use. They promise vitality, youthful energy, vigor at any age, in any season of your life, so that the future years to come are balanced and in harmony. Always remember, the focus is prevention. Aging is an inevitable process, but you now have the option of quality aging. You now have the option to also undo certain areas of aging when you are using the bioenergetic harmonized vitalization page. It's a very important program page to use. It's a program page that can help you bridge the gap between with chronic ailments and reversing with them. So if you have, for example, you are using Healy from some time now, and you have reached certain roadblocks, bioenergetic vitalization is the correct page for you. Let's say you are a new Healy user and your journey is to start. You are in the correct place. Start with Regeneration 1, followed by Regeneration 2 in your week 2, and followed week 3, use Regeneration 3. It's quite simple, as simple as that. The main function, again coming back to where we started, we have 50 trillion cells. They die, they live. They die every day, and new fetals are born every day. This is quite a natural process. But when they are born, they may not be naturally healthy as probably they're supposed to be. We don't know the quality of it. Having said that, our body has a self-healing mechanism, and that is quite possible because of the stem cells. Now, it is possible for various different organs, various different tissue systems in our body to literally heal and come back to its original potential. And that is literally possible. That is literally possible because of this page that we have, which is called as bioenergetic vitalization. So good luck with this page. Make the most out of it. Embrace youthfulness in any season, at any period. Stay young, stay mentally young, Keep your nerves also young. Enjoy the program. It's a great program page to use. Use it wisely. I hope today's session is going to help you create a right choice and a right combination of the programs for you. Now I'm going to end the recording for today. And if you have any questions, I am open to answering your questions.